So not only is GM coming out with a couple new V8 engines, they're bringing back a popular old favorite. So we knew for a while that GM's been working on a new V8. We haven't had a whole lot of detail until now. We're going to discuss both the engines. And they're very interesting because one of which is a popular favorite that we haven't seen in a while. According to GM Authority and Road and Track, one of those engines is a 5.7 liter. Now we haven't seen that since the LS1. The LS1 was a 5.7. I think it came out at 346 cubic inches to be exact, if I'm correct. And I'm pretty sure I am. I had one. It was a 99 WS6 Trans Am. Great engine. Great car, by the way. But beside the point, I digress. The other engine is a 6.6 liter gas engine. 400 cubic inches, give or take, depending on the situation. Now, that's not necessarily new because we had that in the Silverado HD, the 2500. But this is going to be a performance variant. This isn't going to be a truck engine. You know, what's the 6.6 have in the Silverado? 401 horsepower and I think, 480 or 4 something torque. This is going to be a performance variant. So that's also something that we need to consider. So it is still kind of a newish engine. But the 5.7 is what's going to be interesting because it's said to be replacing the 5.3. So let's talk about the articles here. Again, GM Authority and Road and Track. I'm going to talk about the Road and Track article here first. This says that a new family of V8s is coming by General Motors, and they have invested $854 million in these engines. That's a lot of coin. Now, according to GM Authority, the 6th generation small block power plants are 2 different sizes, one being a 5.7, the other being a 6.6. The official word for these engines is that the 5.7 will go into the mainstream models like the Silverado 1500. It's going to replace the 5.3. And the 6.6 is for performance variants like the Corvette. I have more details on that in a second. I think that's very interesting. Now, the 5.7 we have seen in the Silverado before. The late 90s had a 5.7, the Vortec 350. Those are fantastic engines. They last forever. And again, the 5.7 also LS variant in the LS1. Once we hit LS2, we went to 6 liters. But the 5.7, I am very curious of what they're going to do here. We know for a fact they're sticking with the push rods. It's going to be a push rod engine. Nothing's changing there. Although I'm quite surprised that they haven't attempted a dual overhead cam like everybody else, but I'm kind of a favorite or a little biased toward push rods. I like them. 6.6. Let's talk about that one for a second. That is reportedly going into performance cars like the Corvette. Now, according to a couple sources, Torque News, there are Easter eggs, which I'll talk about in a second, and some insider, whose name is not mentioned, who posted on a Facebook group for C8 Corvettes that the 6.6 liter is reportedly a performance variant and will work its way into the C8 Stingray and E-Ray. Now, the Easter egg behind this is that there's been test mules spotted of a C8 with the engine bay covered up, which tells me they're testing a new engine in the C8. According to this article here in Road and Track, it says that there has been a wide body Corvette mule spotted with covered engine bays that could be either a Grand Sport with said new engine or another variant of the Stingray with the new engine. But it is quite suspicious to have any test mule with an engine cover over it. That does seem a little fishy. There's no reason for them to cover up the LT engine that they're already running. We know it's there. So why would they do that? Obviously to cover up the new engine. So if we are getting a 6.6 naturally aspirated engine in the new Stingray, what kind of power is this thing going to make? The one that's in there now makes, what, 495? We're going to round up and say 500. I would hope it would make at least 550. Maybe 560, somewhere in that range. But either way, 6.6 liter going into the Corvette, I would imagine it's going to get some kind of truck revision as well, but this just really just sticks with the performance aspect of things. And the 5.7. The 5.7 going into mainstream vehicles like the Silverado 1500 is going to be fantastic. I would hope that that would push power from the base engine up to pretty close to 400. I like the 5.7 idea. I like the 6.6 idea. I can't think of many other options to put the 6.6 in when it comes to a performance variant, other than the Corvette. The Camaro is dead. That would have been an interesting setup. Unless they want to put it in a Cadillac, like a CTS-V, some kind of V model for the Cadillac. I say CTS-V, we don't even make the CTS-V anymore. That was a stupid comment. Yeah, put it in a Cadillac V variant. That would be cool. A 6.6 liter. I can see that happening. I'm kind of excited for these engines. I don't know when they're coming out. There's no information on that. I would imagine it's going to be within the next year or two. I mean, if they're already test muling it, I'm going to say 2 years. Ballpark guesstimate. But let me know what your thoughts are on a 5.7 and a 6.6 V8 from GM. Now, I do want to also add, I really hope to get rid of that displacement on demand crap. All this, the valve train issues that they've been having, all the engine problems, especially with like the 6.2 liter, all kind of, I mean, they really, if they're investing $854 million into this engine development, let's hope they fix all this shit. Because this is just, their engine issues lately have been horrific. So hopefully they can figure that out. Yes, they have other things to figure out, like their transmissions. They've been garbage too. But I'm thinking if they're going to invest this kind of money, let's hope, really hope, they get it right. So throw your thoughts down in the comments of the new 5.7 and 6.6 engines from GM. Are you looking forward to it or not? Hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, and I'll see you in the next upload.